It's much more than academics. I feel that I'm going to come out of this school more prepared for life in general, because you learn so much about yourself here, just interacting.
You come in kind of unformed, like a piece of clay, and you come out knowing who you are, which is something that I'll always be indebted to the school for.
The personalities of the kids trying to figure out how.
But they're practicing professional artists in their individual field.
If this is dough.
Everything on the line.
Because you have the academics to live up to, and there's so many other things going on, you just always have to keep perspective and look at this place, because this place is beautiful. And if you don't take the time to stop and look at it, then you miss out on a huge part.
She jumped down the steps and was out of the building on her way home.
In Massachusetts, north of Boston, and only 5 miles from the Atlantic Ocean, stands America's first boarding school, Governor Dummer Academy. To a visitor, the 600-acre campus, with its wide fields and brick and clapboard buildings, resembles a small New England community. And as anyone who's ever been here will tell you, that's exactly what it is. Governor Dummer founded the American preparatory school tradition in 1763, here where the New England woodlands meet the great Atlantic salt marsh. From its inception, with the aid of illustrious colonial figures like Paul Revere, John Hancock, and John Quincy Adams, the Academy has enjoyed more than 2 centuries of growth and commitment to educational excellence. William Dummer, Lieutenant Governor of the Massachusetts Bay Colony, and his wife Catherine
doesn't agree with Brooke either. Hopefully everyone leaves the room.
It was a tradition when the school was founded for the headmaster to go around and shake every Groton boy's hand at night. And the school's grown a little bit too much for the headmaster to do it, so now it's prefects and the dorm head who go around and shake everybody's hand to say goodnight.
Sleep well. Did you have a good day?
Yeah.
Good surprise holiday?
Yeah.
Sleep well, we're all
Good night, Taylor.
Oh, good night, Taylor. Did you have a good surprise holiday?
On what's going on in the world right now.
When you play a sport, you really get to know your team members really well.
I believe that the distinctive traits of a Hotchkiss education are that a student comes to enjoy learning. Second, I believe that students learn to become active members of the community of which they are part. And I think third, and most importantly, that students at Hotchkiss learn something about decency, about integrity, about goodwill.
It gives you time to like reflect on your day and what's going on, and it's sort of a relaxing time period because we all need a break every once in a while.
Keep away from a runaround, yeah. Yeah, keep away from this girl.
When I arrived at Kent, I was a pretty quiet kid, and now I'm pretty involved here. I do all kinds of extracurricular activities.
Full pressure in 2.
Ready, play.
What I thought was, wow, there's, you know, maybe a little microcosm of a world up there, a little city going on over there, and I'm about...
Animation got the nerve! Animation got the nerve!
He paved the way for her to get into Barnard without feeling, you know, frustrated or difficult. The transition has been very smooth.
Petty is a secondary school and full-time home to approximately 300 boarders and 200 day students. Educational excellence is not new here. It's been a blossoming tradition since 1864.
Lay back now, everybody, a little more lay back. Swinging the bow a little bit.
Glimplse Academy, Andover, Massachusetts.
With him every week to talk about papers and talk about whatever, and he would never answer my questions. He would only ask me questions.
Do we like this picture? Aren't we pretty sure? We've got a negative here, we've got a kiss.
Glimplse Academy, Andover, Massachusetts.
I think for the right kid, Phillips Academy is just outstanding.
It's been the best experience these 4 years.
Exeter chooses to re-examine morality on a daily basis. Now, please don't think I'm sitting here memorizing rules about how to be good. The truth is, they try to make you think about where rules come from and how to make personal decisions about what those rules should be.
At Exeter, I found that I had to think just as hard, if not harder, about problems of...
Dear Father, yesterday Dr. Perry announced to us that Mr. Harkness had given Exeter a sufficient number of millions, in fact, the largest gift ever given to any prep school at one time, for the carrying out of a revolutionary plan for teaching. That is, to have a round table method of learning. A teacher and a dozen boys of scholastic ability gathered round a table to form a class.
Do you remember how our campus guide showed us all those classrooms with the round tables? Remember how she said, "There's no place to hide around a Harkness table"? I'm happy to say that those old wooden tables are actually pretty lively markets for exchanging ideas.
Suddenly, my own first brush with Harkness-style teaching came rushing back. Greek 11. My teacher took my mind, until then a blunt tool, and honed and sharpened it, using the Harkness table as his steel. It was a scary experience, but it gave me both an intolerance for lazy thinking and lackluster performance. Is the shore I was seeking? Oh yes, before I forget, one last letter, this time not from a student at the school, but from a graduate many years out, written no doubt in a fit of passion, but the physical character of the institution itself. Exeter encouraged me to think more about myself, others, and our common surroundings. For me, Exeter meant much more than just acquiring skills and knowledge. The process of learning how to think fairly and thoroughly about all things was the core of my whole experience at the Academy. That process stays with me today. As I've traveled and had my share of adventures, I continue to be surprised at how much can be learned from other people and our world. In the end, I think what I've learned most about is simply myself. I've decided to keep a copy of this letter for my files, to remind me of my trip back to Exeter.